the same thing over and over again?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, it looks like it's just us chickens, so. Okay. Well, this being the day before the winter solstice and a week of the holidays, let me step back because my head's on camera there. I thought we would do some stuff to wake ourselves up, so bring some heat into our bodies. So hopefully it won't be too strenuous for you, but we will be doing some standing poses and some nice deep stretching. Let me go ahead and tilt this up using a different camera than what I usually use. So it seems like I have to back myself up further than I usually do. Okay, so let's do it. We make sure you are muted so that you don't accidentally become the star of the show today, unless you're into that kind of thing. And let's do it. Okay, so welcome. Let's start with palms forward and a great big shoulder shrug. Inhale up, exhale back and down. Now there are various channels in the body, depending on what healing system you buy into. In traditional Chinese medicine, there are meridians or lines of energy in which things can become stagnant or stuck. And stagnation equals pain, disease, discomfort in the Chinese traditional Chinese medical system. So we're going to start by getting some flow into our bodies. You can make soft claws with your hands. Unlock your knees, turn your palms forward, take a great big shoulder shrug up, back and down. And then begin to tap just below your breast, just the lower rib area. Tap, 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 tap. So your fingertips are striking the ribs. And breathe. Nice, deep, chesty breaths. These might be the first conscious breaths you've taken all day long. So take a moment to let each and every exhale be a chance to relax those shoulders away from your ears and try to deepen those inhales, make them longer, fuller. Just bringing awareness to the torso, the chest, the lungs as you tap. And then you're going to go up to the sternum, the breastbone, and tap. Now, if you've ever been to a first aid CPR class, you may have been taught that if you find somebody unconscious, you want to tap them, make sure they're awake and not just sleeping. Make sure that they are truly unconscious before you do anything else further with them. And one of the ways to test to see if somebody's faking or not is to tap them in the chest here. So go ahead, tap that sternum. This will definitely get your eyes to open because this can be a very tender, bony spot for most folks. Keep those nice deep breaths going. Thumping away. And then release. Shake those hands out. Just fling off any unnecessary, unwanted ick you might have picked up. Let your feet be a comfortable distance apart. Unlock your knees. Turn your palms forward once again and take a great big shoulder shrug up. Exhale back and down. And I invite you to close your eyes. And notice the sensations in your body, the quality of your breath. And keeping this internal awareness, letting that third eye be open. See yourself from the inside out. Let your eyes softly open. Make soft fists with your hands. Make sure your feet are apart, a comfortable hip width apart. Do unstick your heels and then begin to twist. Let your fists strike your chest like you were a silverback gorilla. Those soft fists strike your chest, loosening up phlegm, any congestion you might have in those lungs, any junk you might have, because this being the winter season, a number of us have been sick and you might have some chest congestion, residual phlegm, gunk. Make sure your heels are unstuck so you don't torque your knees. And go for more twist here. You're also striking the back rib area. Striking the area in which your kidneys reside. And above those kidneys reside your adrenal glands. helping to juice out those adrenal glands, get the adrenaline flowing, waking yourself up here. Keep going. I'm going to spin around so we're all going the same direction. And then come to neutral. Once again, close your eyes, turn your palms forward, take a great big shoulder shrug up, back and down. Feel all the feels, all the tingles. Lifting up tall through the crown of your head. Knees unlocked, toes are spread. Take that left hand behind your back, pull it across and hold it in place. Right hand on top of left. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears and let your head fall over towards your hands, towards that right shoulder. If that makes sense, nod your head yes, and feel that stretch through the left side of your neck. Eyes can be open or closed, but your attention is focused inward. Roll your chin to the center of your chest, interlace your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades together, stand up tall, putting your head on straight. And then release. Let's do the other side, taking that right hand behind your back, pull it across, hold it in place, left hand on top of right. Shoulders are down away from your ears as your head falls over to the left. Again, nod your head yes if all that makes sense and you want more neck stretch. Again, your eyes can be opened or closed, balance permitting. As long as your attention is focused inward, you're doing this correctly. And once again, roll your chin to the center of your chest, interlace your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades together, press your knuckles down as you open your chest up. Standing tall, breathing deeply. And release. Let those arms swing. Start crossing them in front. Cross the right arm on top. The right arm on top, not the wrong one. Cross the right arm on top and give yourself a great big hug. Drop those shoulders away from your ears. Get your fingers down below your armpits. Wrap up nice and tight. Keep your knees soft. And if it works for you, flip that bottom arm up. Wrap the top arm around. Maybe catching hold of your thumb. If you're not quite bridging that gap, if you're not quite able to hold on to your hands, you can use a belt to help you make a connection. Shoulders down away from your ears, elbows press forward, belly pulls back, shoulders are down away from your ears, and you have a nice, long, elegant neck here. So you might tick-tock your head side to side. Let those shoulders melt away from your ears. Now, staying upright is wonderful. Depending on how tight those shoulders are, this might be enough for you today. But if you want more intensity, you have the option of sliding those arms up and down, kind of flossing, running up and down between those shoulder blades. If you need even more intensity, you lean forward a little bit. Now I've split my stance. I've got one leg in front, one leg in back. Both knees are unlocked. And I can slide those elbows. Now it would be forward and backward. Gravity helps pull those shoulder blades away from one another, creating even more space between those shoulder blades. And release. Let them go. Let them swing. Start crossing the left arm on top. Crossing that left arm on top. Give yourself a great big hug. Shoulders down away from your ears. Fingers below your armpits. Breathing into your back ribs. Knees unlocked. And again, you have the option to stay here. You have the option to tangle your arms up. You have the option to use that belt if necessary. You have the option to slide those arms up and down. Or hinging forward, sliding forward and backward. Really getting some good upper back shoulder stretching to happen. Keep breathing. Whatever option you've chosen, make sure you continue to breathe. And release. Oh, let that go. Great big inhale, arms up and overhead. And exhale. Release. Palms are forward for a great big shoulder shrug, a great big yawn, inhaling up. Exhale, back and down. Now, feet are comfortable hip width apart. This should not be a balance challenge. Inhale, take both arms up and overhead. Release that right hand down to your hip. Stretch up long and tall. Keep your knees soft, your toes spread as you turn this into a great big side stretch. Palm is flat towards the ground. You're lengthening out through the pinky finger, sweeping back through your thumb, turning your chest open towards the ceiling a little bit more. Knees unlocked, belly pulled in. And you breathe. Let that top elbow bend. Give yourself a pat on the back and straighten up. Reach across with that right hand to push that left arm down into the shoulder joint. Plug that arm in and then pull it behind your head a little bit more. The trick to this one is to push in so that you can drag across. The more you push that arm bone into the shoulder joint, the further you'll be able to drag it behind your head. Again, knees are unlocked, belly pulled in, heads on straight. You do your best to breathe. Inhale. And exhale, release. Let's do the same on the other side. Inhale, take both arms up and overhead. Release that left hand down to your hips, stretch long and tall, and then over into a side stretch. Reaching through your fingertips. Sweeping back through your thumb, lengthening through your pinky finger, turning your chest open towards the sky a little bit more. And bending that top elbow, go ahead, straighten on up. Reach up and over with that left hand, plug that arm into socket, drag it behind your head. Heads on straight, belly pulls in, knees unlocked. Inhale. And exhale, release. Great big inhale, both arms up and overhead. And exhale, release arms down to your sides. Turning your palms forward, repeat a shoulder shrug, inhaling up. Exhale down. Oh. You get to step your feet wide. Do make sure both feet are on the same surface. If you only have one foot on your yoga mat, it could slide out from underneath you, and that's not safe. Feet go wide. How wide should your feet go? As wide apart as your outstretched arms. So plant your ankles underneath your wrists. Take your feet nice and wide. And then turn all 10 toes to the right. Got to pivot. Swing all 10 toes to the right. Inhale, take both arms up and overhead. Hook your thumbs together. So you got like butterfly hands. Hook your thumbs together and let your hips tick-tock side to side. And you'll notice real quick that your hips like to tick-tock to one side really easily and not so much the other. So notice that your hips want to kick out to the left. So that's what we're going to do. Go ahead, let those hips kick out to the left. Make sure that right knee is unlocked. And then drape yourself out over that right leg. Now the entire weight of your torso, everything is settling onto this right leg. Do make sure the right knee is unlocked. It's not collapsing. Raise the top hand in the air. Wave it like you just don't care. No, actually you do care. High five an imaginary friend and pull your tummy in. Pulling your tummy in as you smack that top hand against an imaginary friend will allow you to turn your chest open towards the ceiling a little bit more. Keep on breathing. And then with an inhale, come all the way up and release. You're going to pivot, spin your feet to go the other direction. Wide stride between your feet. Hook your thumbs together, arms overhead, tick-tocking those hips. As you tick-tock those hips, you'll feel, oh yeah, you get a good strong hamstring stretch. To make sure all 10 toes have spun and pointing to the left. That right heel is kicking out. Kick that right hip out and then tip on over into your triangle pose, Trikonasana triangle pose. Left knee is unlocked. You can even tighten up the quadricep to help pull that kneecap up to keep it from collapsing. High five an imaginary friend, pull your tummy and turn your chest open. Breathe. The more you pull that tummy in, the more you smack an imaginary friend's hand, the lighter this bottom hand will be, the less pressure you will settle onto that left leg. The safer that left knee will be. And then with an inhale, come all the way up. And you get to step your feet together. Shake out a leg or two. Maybe crack some toe knuckles. All right. You do want to make sure you're on a nice, solid, flat surface. If you're doing this on carpeting, you might throw off your balance a little bit. If you're on multiple mats, that might also affect your balance. So if you have the ability to step off onto a solid surface, I'd recommend that because we're going to be standing on one foot. Shift your weight over onto that right foot. Spin the left knee out to the side. Shrug your shoulders up, back, and down. And plant that left foot up against that right leg, the inseam of the pant leg, either above or below the knee. Pushing foot against leg, leg against foot. Grow your tree. Vrkshasana tree pose. All 10 toes are spread, both knees are bent. Foot pushes against leg, leg presses against foot, pulling in your tummy. And then release. Step down, switching sides, standing on that left leg, spin that right knee out to the side, foot goes against leg, leg goes against foot. Inhale, both arms come up. Belly pulls in, shoulders drop, chest is open. Tree pose. Standing knee is soft. Now here is the challenge. Can you transition from this tree pose directly into your triangle pose? So soften that standing knee, step out, and then tip on over. Triangle pose. All 10 toes pointing to the right. High-fiving that imaginary friend, pulling your tummy and turning your chest open. Inhale, come all the way up. Pivot, switch feet, go the other side, tip on over into that triangle pose. High-fiving that imaginary friend, pulling your tummy and turning your chest open. Again, make sure that left knee is unlocked. And with an inhale, come all the way up. Good news, you get to step your feet together, maybe shake out a leg or two, and find your blocks. Park one block on either edge of your mat. Let's go back into that tree pose. Shoulders up, back and down. You're going to stand on your right foot this time. Spin that left knee out to the side. Foot goes against leg, leg goes against foot. Standing tall, sweeping those arms up and overhead. Balancing. Very nice. Releasing your left hand to your left hip. Reach up longer, taller through that right side body. Get really long, whoop, tall, and then maybe tip over and do a bit more of a side stretch, challenging your balance a little bit more. So foot pushing against leg, leg pressing against foot. Standing knee is unlocked. Worst case scenario, you touch toe down, you'll be fine. And then inhale, come all the way up. And let's switch. Standing on that left foot, spin the right knee out to the side. Foot goes against leg, leg goes against foot. Inhale, arms up and overhead. So here we are in a tree pose. Then we're going to head into fall. As you tip over, winter wind blowing you over, a wind-swept tree. Breathing. Standing knee soft. And straightening on up. And same transition. Can you step out into your triangle pose? So I took both feet wide apart, as wide apart as my outstretched arms. Tip over into that triangle pose. We're going to use the block this time. So bottom hand finds the block, top hand finds the hip. Shrug that top shoulder onto your back, turn your chest open. That same idea of high-fiving, pulling in that tummy, turn your chest open. Right knee is unlocked. And take the back leg, that's your left leg. And as you exhale, pull your tummy in tight. Take that back leg, step in, advance all your weight onto your right foot and set that block out ahead of your pinky toe. Lifting that left leg up, half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. High-fiving that imaginary friend, pulling your tummy and turning your chest open. Flexing your foot and pressing that inner ankle down to help you lift up that pelvic floor. Make your torso even lighter. Pushing that top ankle, inner ankle down so you can lift even more weight off your standing leg. Bottom hand weighs nothing. Touch down. Celebrate, come on up. Spin all 10 toes to go the other direction. Wide stride between your feet as you tip over into that triangle pose. Again, find that block, park it underneath your left hand, right hand comes to your top hip. Chest turns open, belly pulls in nice and strong. Left knee is unlocked. As you drag your right leg in, pull in that pelvic floor. Start shifting weight onto your left leg. Left hand advances ahead of the pinky toe. As you lift up for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Same trick, pushing that inner right heel down to lift weight off your hips. Lift your hips off your supporting leg. Take the weight out of your bottom hand. Belly strong, so I'm pushing down and lifting up at the same time. Breathe. All right, from half moon pose, you're going to touch down, stand up, crowd goes wild. So we did a half moon on the right, a half moon on the left. Now let's do a full moon. Bend your knees, bow forward. Show me that full moon pose. That's not really what this is called, but you get the idea. Stick out your booty. Head down, booty up, toes in, heels out. Forward fold. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Self-soothe, calm yourself down. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Come up onto your fingertips. Make a flat tabletop surface with your body. Hands are beneath your shoulders. Bless me. Hands directly beneath your shoulders. So your hands are off the mat. Your hands aren't on the same mat as your feet. Toes are in, heels are out. Full moon, like I said. Stick out your butt. Big sit bones. Pull your tummy in. Place that left hand down directly beneath your nose. And with an inhale, sweep your right arm up and open. Big twist. High five that imaginary friend and turn your chest open a little bit more. Knees are unlocked, toes are turned in, heels are kicking out. Inhale. And as you exhale, release. Right hand really places left, left hand sweeps up and open. Evolving. Knees unlocked, belly pulled in. High five that imaginary friend, get even more lift through your midsection, even more rotation. And release. We're going to repeat. Inhale, sweep that right arm up and open. Now take this top hand, turn the palm to face behind you, and take the back of your hand around the small of your back. You might even tuck your fingertips into your waistband. Turn sideways, you can see this. Tuck your fingertips into your waistband to get more rotation. Knees are unlocked, belly pulled in. Rotate, rotate, rotate. And release. Switching sides. Right hand down, left arm up and open. Open, open, open. Knees unlocked, belly pulled in. Take the back of your hand around the small of your back, tucking your fingertips into your waistband, hiking that top shoulder onto your back. Get a big twist to happen. Bottom hand is light, belly is lifted. Notice my head is an extension of my spine. I'm not letting it fall off. Unwind. Now I get to let my head fall off because I'm draping my spine down. Turn your toes in, bend your knees, flip your buns up towards the sun. The more you bend your knees, stick out your heels, stick out your butt, the more you can drape your head, your spine down towards the ground. Knees bent, sit bones perky, head hanging. When you find your balance, you have the option to bring your hands together behind your back, interlace your fingers, and press your knuckles up towards the sky. Hands come to your hips, hands slide down your legs all the way down to the ground. And come on down. You might want to pull some padding out, put some padding underneath your knees. You might also want to have your blocks handy. So make sure all your toys are nearby. Take your blocks beneath your hands and step forward with your right foot. Go long. If you need to put padding underneath your left knee, go ahead, put that in place. Inch that front foot forward so the big toe sticks out further than any other point on your body. Your front shin is vertical, straight up and down. Shoulders shrug away from your ears. You use blocks underneath your hands so that your shoulders are level. This is what the profile view looks like. I'm using up pretty much the full length of this mat. I'm letting my hips drive forward, sink down towards the ground. It's preparation for the splits. And then your challenge is to switch sides without using your hands. Good hip mobility, good balance, good agility practice. Step forward with your left foot. I'm going to go at a slight angle here so that you can see that my shoulders are level. I'm trying to keep my shoulders level, using enough blocks beneath my hands so that my shoulders stay level. If I didn't have my hands on high level blocks, if they were on a lower level, my shoulders might not be even. One might be lower than the other. Might be leaning one way or the other. Ideally, shoulders are the same height and your spine hangs straight down the middle of your back. It doesn't curve off to one side. Front foot inches forward so the big toe sticks out past any other point on the body. Inhale. And exhale, back it up. All right, let's go back to that first side. Right foot forward. Big step forward. Nice long, low lunge. And now you do get to rock back on the front heel. Bring those blocks with you. They come underneath your shoulders. I want to make sure you get a good, strong hamstring stretch here. So you rock back on the front heel and you waggle your hips side to side. The more you tuck your tail under like a shy puppy, the more likely you are to get the front leg straight. But once you do have the front leg straight, if you want more intensity, then you flip your buns towards the sun. You stick your butt out and you'll get more hamstring stretch down the back side of that right thigh. So you do you. Wiggle and waggle. and shift forward. Switch sides, hands free if you can, and come back into that lunge. Some nice long length between your feet, and a little bit of width will help you have control over this pose a little bit more. Again, rocking back on the front heel, maintaining that long length, that long stride distance between the front foot and back foot as you wiggle and waggle. And then resume. Now we're going to shorten up the distance between the front and back foot. I'm going to shift back, drag this front foot back, and come into what I call proposal pose. All my weight's down on one knee. I can lift the front foot up, proposal pose, down on one knee. My arms are not long enough to even reach the blocks here, so I'm just having those blocks there just in case. Nice, narrow, upright lunge kneeling position. I'm going to let the front knee overbend. The more traditional variation of lunge is called Anjaneyasana. It's a more intermediate advanced pose, and it does require a nice loose Achilles tendons and good knee flexibility. So if this doesn't work for you, you can go into that longer stride length we just used for our beginner version lunge. So more intermediate advanced version, you're going to shift forward. Do let that front knee go beyond the toes. Get a good strong Achilles tendon stretch on the back side of the ankle, back side of the heel. Use those blocks to help control, so you can bail out if you need to. Just settle in. I'm doing this for the Achilles tendon stretch on the back of the heel. It's kind of like half of a squat. And breathe. And back it up. Now, keeping this short, narrow stride length, back toes are pointed, we're going to sit back on the back heel. Front foot peels up. Now I'm deeply bending the right knee in this case. Breathing. This is definitely much more knee intensive, that intermediate advanced flexibility required here for the knees. But you're also in control of how heavily you sit down on those heels. You've got those blocks, so you might be just backing it up a little bit. You might not be all the way down. You do you. You control, you choose your own adventure, working at whatever level works for you today. And then bail out. And of course, I'm going to encourage you to flip sides, switch sides without using hands if you can. Right foot forward. Down on one knee, proposal pose. Use those blocks to help you overbend the front knee. Going for that Achilles tendon stretch. Kind of like half of a lunge, half of a squat. Do your best to breathe. And my back toes are pointed. Nice deep breaths. And then back it up. Try to sit back on your left heel, peeling up those right toes. Just breathing. Control how much weight you're putting on that back knee, back heel. So, of course, we did the right side, we did the left side, we did the right side, we did the left side, we did half of a squat on one side and half of a hero pose. Now we're going to do a full squat and then a full hero. So you might come on up for a moment, Make sure you have your toys nearby. Real intense knee and ankle hip flexibility required. So don't be shy about running off and getting a few more extra toys just in case. Now, if you have heels, tight Achilles tendons, if you really felt it on that back of the ankle, you might have a rolled up sticky mat or a folded up beach towel or a couch cushion nearby for you to put your heels on top of. Heels on a little something. Feet go as wide apart as the mat. I want to have those blocks handy too. So heels will be down on something. They might be down on a folded blanket, beach towel, couch cushion, or they might be down on the floor, depending on your ankle flexibility. My ankles are okay, kind of not quite sure, okay with this, and you're thinking more about your ankles than any other body part. Well, the solution is to pray. Bring your hands together, bring your hands down midline, let your elbows press against your knees, and then squeeze your knees against your elbows. Then your ankles won't hurt so much. Now, if the knees are bothering you, you can take some of the strain, some of the load off those knees by stacking your blocks, one block on top of the other, and sitting on those blocks, taking some of the weight off those knees. But if that still doesn't work, your knees don't bend deep enough to get into the squat, then your knees are talking to you. That's a conversation you don't want to continue to have. You can take your 2 blocks in what I call butt cheek configuration, one for each butt cheek, have a seat on them, and bail out of the squat altogether. You can come into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Either you're working your squat, making modifications as necessary, or just bailing out altogether and coming into this butterfly pose. Either one. Whatever you've chosen to do, blocks, no blocks, toys, no toys, you get to shift your weight off to one side and swing the other knee out wide. You might even use your hand to push the knee wide. You're not pushing the knee down, you're pushing the knee out. And then shift and swing out. And shift and swing out. And continue to shift and swing out. A couple more times here. The butterfly variation, you shift, push out, shift. I am pushing out. It just looks like I'm pushing down. I'm just pushing out, shift, and push out. I'm outwardly rotating those inner thighs. I am showing you the inseams of my pants in either variation. All right. And now you're going to inwardly rotate. Shift one way and let the trailing knee fall in. Lift it up, shift, fold in. Lift up, shift, fold in. Lift up, shift, fold in. Again, the challenge is to do this without hands. If you are down on the ground, it looks like this. I'm shifting and I'm flipping. And I'm shifting and I'm flipping. Again, hands free. So you do you. Whatever you choose to do, you're definitely getting some good hip mobility work here. And you are externally and internally rotating those legs. It does require a certain amount of abs to do this with no hands. All right. If you're up here working the squat variation, we're all going to shift that away and have a seat. And finish with your right foot near your left knee, and then take your left big toe, drag it up onto the mat with you so that left big toe is pointed back behind. So you're sitting side saddle. It's also called mermaid pose. Locate your right shoulder, itch your ear, hitchhike that right shoulder blade onto your back. Sweep your left arm high into the sky. Take that left arm diagonal across for a nice twist. Pull in your tummy, tuck your tail. Even do a little pelvic thrust tilt. Get a little bit more stretch down the front of that right thigh. That's your left thigh, down the front of that left thigh. And release. Hands free if you can. Switch sides. And then do make sure that right big toe is pointed back behind you. Left foot near the right knee, right big toe pointed back behind you. Left shoulder hitchhikes onto your back. Right arm comes up and diagonal across for a nice big twist. Pull in your tummy. Do a little pelvic thrust tilt. Zip up those tight yoga pants. Lengthen your lower back as you twist. And unwind. Switching sides. Lift one leg, then the other, flip it back. Make sure that big toe is pointed. Right foot near the left knee, left big toe pointed behind you. Shrug this left shoulder up, right shoulder up, hitchhike it onto your back. The left arm comes up, diagonal across, big twist. Leave your lower body as is. Just turn to look forward. In a moment, you're going to be lying down. So I like to lean off to the same direction as this right knee. So lean off to the right, putting that right elbow down. Left arm sweeps up and overhead, rolling my chest open. And I might be able to reach down, find the floor with both elbows. And then slowly pulling that tummy in, lie down. Going as low as you dare. And that might not be very low at all. So I just kind of sweep back, opening chest. You might just be here, sweeping back, getting a nice side body stretch. Stretch down the front of that left quadricep, feeling it. Others might be able to roll all the way open and lie down. Tummy pulls in. Big, strong quadricep, big, strong ankle stretch. How you get out of it is the opposite of how you went in. So you're going to roll back over to your right and crawl back up. And then, of course, you get to switch sides without using your hands if you can. Drag this right big toe up onto the mat with you. Shrug that left shoulder onto your back. Right arm in the air. And bring it diagonal across for the twist. Big twist. So you're upright for the twist. So you're twisting to your left. You're going to be putting that left elbow down on the ground first. And then that right arm helicopters open, turning your chest open towards the ceiling. You might just stay here for the side stretch. Or if it works for you to helicopter that arm around, reach back, find the ground, control the descent so that you can lie down, you can go there as well. To get out of this, you roll over onto your left side and roll on up. So again, we did the right, we did the left. Now we got to do both. So you're going to come on up to kneeling. And I recommend facing the screen for this one. I'm just turning sideways. Sure, I'm still on camera here. I'm turning sideways so that you can see that my knees are narrow. My heels are apart. My feet are as wide apart as this green mat is here. And I'm going to put my 2 blocks between my heels. I'm going to stack them up one on top of the other in what I call layer cake configuration. You're going to put those 2 blocks wide width between your heels so you can sit on them. Not everybody's knees bend. Not everybody's ankles like to do this pose. So my legs are narrow. Those blocks are between my heels. I want to make sure I'm on camera. I'm sitting on those blocks. Big, strong Stretch down the front of the thighs. Toes are pointing backward. You want to be on the front edge of those sit bones, front edge of those blocks. This is hero pose, Virasana. Very calming, soothing position for the lower body. In fact, all the blood in your legs is being squished out of your legs, and it begins to pool in your abdomen, flushing, perfusing those internal organs with lots of juicy blood. Has a very calming, soothing effect on those internal organs. Some people even use this pose for meditation. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms up towards the sky. Let your shoulders melt down away from your ears. Pull your tummy in. Breathe. Now your arms are in a stress position. Pushing your thumbs up, you're pulling your pinky fingers back. This can really make your eyes fly open if you were to stay in this pose for a long period of time. A stress position in the upper body. And it is said that the two halves, the top half and the bottom half, balance one another out. And that's what makes this a yoga pose. It's the union of opposites. It's the stress position and the relaxation response at the same time. Inhale. And then as you exhale, release your arms in front. Notice the interlace of your fingers. Put the other index finger on top so it feels funky. Press your palms out and bring them up and overhead. Inhale. And as you exhale, let those elbows bend. Hands come behind your head. Deep chesty breath. Inhale. And exhale. Release. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for your first downward facing dog of the class, and it's at the end of class. So you're going to shift forward, curl those toes under, chase your chicken off. Toes curled under, you might stretch one leg, then the other. If down dog is not accessible for you, you can do this variation. Or you can come on up into your downward facing dog and stretch one leg, then the other. Encourage some blood flow back into those legs, stretching out your calves, pedaling your feet. Let your hips shift wide, side to side. Get a nice stretch. Feel the blood flow back into your legs. And when you've returned feeling to those lower extremities, and you've got blood flow back into those ankles, back into those calves, it is time to find a comfortable seat. You get to sit any way you like. And that might be a simple cross-legged seat. It might be sitting back on your heels. It might be sitting on blocks. You can even sit with your legs straight. I'm just going to sit back on my heels again. Those blocks between my heels. I'm going to get fairly close here to the camera because I would like you to join me for some alternate nostril breathing. I don't do this one very often. Because it does take a little bit of explaining to go through. Now, Nadi Shonaha, alternate nostril breathing. The normal function, operation of your sinuses, of your breathing apparatus, is that you tend to inhale and exhale through one side of your nose at any given time. those tissues dry out because you're inhaling and exhaling, blowing air past those tissues, and they dry out over time. So the side that you're not breathing through is being moisturized, and then your body will switch to the other side. So the side that just dried out, because you've been breathing through that for a while, will now begin to moisturize, and the one that's nice and juicy will begin to dry out. So if you stop and check in throughout the day and notice that, yeah, I tend to be breathing through one side of my face more than the other, that tends to switch throughout the day. So it is unusual, not really the best use of your time to always be breathing through both sides at the same time, because then the nasal tissues would dry out and they wouldn't be able to capture all the debris and junk in the air in those wet, moist nasal tissues and help you to sneeze and blow out germs. But let's practice this alternate nostril breathing. I like to take my 2 fingers to find that third eye, that spot between my eyebrows. And then I use a thumb on the one side of my face to help spread open. So I drag with my thumb, spread open one side of my nose, while I pinch the other side closed with my remaining 2 fingers. And then when I switch, I pinch closed with my thumb and I spread out with my 2 fingers. It doesn't really matter what hand configuration you're using. I do like that spreading out with the thumb and the fingertips to help access the most breathing areas possible. So let's start. Begin with an inhale. And release. So let's settle in. Palms together, shoulders down away from your ears. I think I lost you there. Looks like my camera shut off. Shoot. So let's finish the way we began. Let's have a seat. Turn your attention inward. You're going to bring thumbs into the palms of your hands, tuck them in at the tops of your hips, and bow forward, sealing in the benefits of your practice.